Welcome to the Super Facts Show on the Super Facts Network, featuring St. Laz, who also hosts the popular web series Gem Pop, and music journalist Mark Walter Ward. They have discussions about hip hop, culture, society, philosophy, and everything else. Now available on YouTube and wherever else you get your podcasts. What up, world? It's your boy Mark Walter Ward, Super Facts Show, Super Facts Network. I got Skitta Skat with me today. I know y'all remember him from the podcast we did talking about his latest music. Make sure you go check that out. But since then I've gotten to know him a little bit. My SDE co-host is his relative, and we've talked a lot about shit, music, movies, shit like that, on Instagram or whatever. And you 28, and there was a time in my life like everybody knows how those before them how they learned about rap, what they started listening to, what they like, because they'll tell you when you're learning it, and then everybody knows what they learned. And then I feel like now with the internet, you can kind of tell, since the internet got popular, like with phones and everything, and people putting their music on it, you can always kind of tell like what the old heads like, what the young is like. So it's real easy to know what everybody like. And you from the same general area that I am, but you 28 and I'm 43. So you from a time where A, I wasn't around there, and B, I was probably either going to court or worrying about drugs and shit, before I got myself together. So like I was less aware at that time. And so giving your opinions, and like you got a pretty eclectic palette when it comes to musical interests. I just wanted to talk to you about, basically your history as a rap fan, like off rip, like what do you remember being like the first thing that you heard and the first thing that you was into?
The first thing I heard, it always surprises people to the point sometimes they gotta question me about it. But the first time I heard rap, it had to be 95 or 96. Scarface. I believe the Diary came out with 95, 96.
No, Untouchable came out in 96.
So the Diary, that was what, 94, 95?
Yeah, I think it was 94, but my mouth ain't no prayer book.
But we was my family, my father, mother, brother, we was taking a road trip, and I remember vividly just sitting in the back seat, just staring at the highway. And the only thing I can remember is the song "Please Excuse My Attitude."
Sorry if I'm being yeah.
So through my whole life, that chorus just always played over and over and over. My father, him being a huge Scarface fan, so that's the first thing I know I vividly remember hearing. And
Hey, can I ask you something? You said people were surprised, and like that don't surprise me at all, because being from, that we ain't call it the DMV, but they call it the DMV now. Like Rap a Lot was big, and like Scarface was like how big he was in New York. So like that's totally believable to me. So these people that don't believe it, they don't be from around the way, do they?
So some of them, but some of them a little bit older, because they. Some older folks don't believe younger people know about the Scarface era and everything. But, my father being a huge Scarface fan, and some of my older cousins, I had no choice but to listen to it. And Scarface, that's my top 3 of all time. He's in my top 3.
Yeah, nah, I think he the best rapper of all time. Like that's definitely my. See, Cameron my favorite, but Scarface my favorite too in a way. I think he the best. But like this, I mean, shit. See, now we're just getting to like I don't even know if it'd be debate, but like I feel there's like levels to, or not even levels, just different categories. Like in some ways, Eminem might be the most technically good rapper, but I don't much care for his music or like what he be rapping about for the most part. With notable exceptions. I mean, he has that greatness. Like I mean, I can't hate on what's great, but a lot of that shit, like I don't like the silly shit or like or the weird shit or like I don't really give a fuck about pop stars and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right. He's also in my top 3 too.
But then like, if you want to talk about conveying a full range of emotion, I feel like Tupac did that better than anybody.
Yeah.
Like there's levels of emotion he never got to. I mean, that he could get to the others couldn't. Or others could get to one level he could get to, but he could also get to another level. I mean, he could do a mad jump, he could do a party jump, he could do a make you cry jump. I mean, anything. Like he could do a New York mixtape jump, like the shit with Big L. You know what I'm saying?
Deadly combination.
Yeah. So like there's I ain't gonna say levels, but categories of best ever at this stage, because like you gotta give some people credit for maybe being like the best pop rapper ever. Like I always be talking about like Man, I don't see why it ain't nobody trying to be the next LL Cool J.
Some people like following other people's footsteps, but you know, LL, he followed it. He followed his own path, and still to this day, he's still relevant.
I mean, Nelly kind of was in that mold, and that shit worked like a motherfucker. Flow Rider was in that mold. That shit worked like a motherfucker. If I was a little younger with some big pecs, I started doing my push-ups and try to get my LL on.
Mm-hmm. But I think the thing with Nelly, I can't say I think the thing, but I think he kind of took too much of a long time period off to the point where nobody really started checking for his music. You know, LL, he was, you know, he might take a little bit time off, but he gonna come back. You know, he was gonna come back with something. Nelly,
right,
I
though,
felt
bro.
as though.
Now you got, because you write like shit.
Yeah, I just feel as though he took a little bit too much of a time period off. Like Luda. Luda is in my top 10, but I ain't mad at him for doing the movie route, but I feel as though I think he took a little bit too much of a long time off to the point where people stopped checking for his music. I still check for his music, but you know, as far as the general population, he wasn't in the top tier as he used to be as of right now.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I never thought about it like that, but in a way, like his fans grew up and he didn't make new fans, which was kind of important to Nelly's brand. Like in Luda's case, I mean, in a way, I guess people just lamed out because like you would think he would get a little bit of that like love of how strong his music get, like the lyrics, like that, like fucking Luda can flow like shit. So I check for that at any time because somebody that can flow can always come out with something. You know what I'm saying? Like shit, MC8 had a vicious ass album like 2 years ago or 3 years ago, and he's like in his 50s. You know what I'm saying?
Damn.
Yeah,
and that's what I think. I think that's what keep Nas and Jay relevant, because even though they take a little bit of time off, they keep coming back. They keep coming back. Like Jay, he may not put an album out, but he's going to pop out somewhere at a concert, at a somebody record. He's going to pop out somewhere and spit in the verse.
I mean, them Jones don't be whack, you know. Even like the Nas jump that won the Grammy, and I ain't trying to hate. I got a fucking poster of Nas on front of me, on top of me from the Kenny Center. I love Nas, Jay-Z, like the first 8 or 9. But I ain't gonna front. Like I don't find myself going back and listening to them shits like the other ones. Like I probably ain't gonna rock 444 over listening to like the Blueprint or the Black Album.
Nah. 444 is I say it's only about a good 3-4 tracks off that jump that I can only listen to.
You seen cats? I forgot who it was, but it's like a known rapper. I forgot, but like more than one said that his verse on that Khaled shit was garbage. I think it was like Gilly the Kid said the
shit. Yeah, Gilly. He
like garbage juice or something, right?
But I looked at that as really, if you listen to the verses, it wasn't really to me about being lyrical. It was more about they on that thing talking how successful they are, how they talking money. You know, you listen to Nas verse. What do he call himself? I think he called himself the cryptocurrency Scarface or something like that. You know, he got a real big investment coming in, like some like 100 some million coming back just because he kept investments. So that's how I looked at the record. They just mainly talking money on it.
I mean, yeah, but where's the audience for that? Like, you know, there's an audience to try to hit them. You know, I mean, not Nas and Jay-Z on a joint together. I mean, probably people want lyrical, I guess.
Yeah,
I mean, again, like that's just another joint I ain't gonna go back and listen to. You feel me?
I think the original core fans of Jay and Nas, they was expecting that late 90s, early 2000s type record, but you ain't gonna get that.
So after you heard the Scarface, what was like the first rap you was going to get yourself or seek out to listen to? Like, because, you know, maybe you was like, you know, holding some of your dad's Jones kind of tight or whatever the case may be.
Well, luckily for me, I grew up in a hip hop household. So my father, he was more of the gangster side of me. He was more the Pac, the Scarface, more the hardcore rap. My brother, he was more into the lyrical side, the Dipsets, the Cassidys, the M's, he introduced me to a lot. My mother, she was a big 80s fan, so she's more on the Slick Rick, Melly Mel, all them. That's her time. That's when she really enjoyed hip hop. So luckily for me, I got a taste of everything.
You like Cassidy?
Yeah. I liked him when he first came out. You know, when he first came out, his bars was top notch. But as far as the the battle rapping now, I ain't mad at him. You know, he keeping himself out there. He keeping himself relevant through these times. But his music ain't what it used to be.
See, like I was disappointed when I copped his album. I know I got either like the first or the second retail. I was kind of disappointed in the shit. I mean, because he can rap like shit. You know, at the time, like I think it might even before there was rap DVDs like that. I don't know. Like it'd be hard to remember everything. But I remember like you had to like go out your way to see that shit where he battled the Rockefeller people. You ever saw that shit?
Yeah, I seen my brother. He had like a DVD, and I never knew what it was, but it was like one of them white disc DVDs. And when I put it on, I was like, "What's this?" He's like, "It's Cassidy versus Freeway in the studio." And then on the flip side of that, it was another just a whole category just battle rappers. So that I seen that way before the internet. That's you had to have DVDs.
It's a dog. You like battle rap like that? Like I ain't never really get into it. Like you shared that low deluxe with me, and I really like that one. You know, when
yeah.
against Calico, right? The BMF son.
Yeah, I'm in the battle rap, but I ain't into it to the point where I know every single battle rapper and who battling who. You know, I know some of the the top names. You know, one of my favorite battle rappers all time is like Charlie Clips, Loaded Lux. And
see, they be good sometimes. Like a lot of that shit don't be good. Like Charlie Clips got some vicious Jones. Loaded Lux got some vicious. But like a lot of people they champion, especially like way before the Loaded Lux wave, like the early 2000s wave. There was like a show on cable. I forgot what network, but it was like some battle rap and shit. It had like that blind dude, and I think like
106 in Park, Blind Fury.
Nah, but this was some shit that was on like Showtime or something. But it wasn't. It might have been on like Cinemax. But it was like 2 years, and they had like a dude from Minnesota. I think his name was Atmosphere. I could be wrong. Won the shit, and they had like that dude Gage, like all these people that you wouldn't necessarily gravitate towards their music. Like, like there ain't never been like somebody I consider a battle rapper that made an album that I would cop off the strength of their battle raps. I mean, I guess 40 Cal.
Nah, yeah, I gotta agree with you there. Besides Cassidy, other than that, nah, ain't no other battle rapper album I ever listened to.
I mean, I bought the Gin Joan off the strength of the Rough Riders. You know, Gin is.
Yeah. I remember he had that nice little run in 106 in Park where he was just
man. That album, oh my god, you ever heard that shit?
Nah, I never listened to the album though.
Man, he got one joint on there. It's like it was. I think it was a single too. It was like I'm gonna make the whole world speak Chinese or some shit.
I remember that joke. That's the only thing. That's the only song I ever heard from Jim.
You know, I was watching. I forgot. It was either the My Life or I think it was My Life, but it might have been one of the other Styles P Jones. But I saw Jen in the background. I remember that shit. That shit makes me chuckle.
I was looking at the Rough Riders documentary, and they was talking about Jen, and they said the reason they think the album ain't do good is because they kind of did bad on their part as far as the marketing.
Man, that song sucked. That's why that shit ain't do. That was the worst single. There was way better songs on that album than that. That was like a horrible decision, brother. I remember I was in jail when that shit came out, and it was on like 106 in Park, and motherfuckers was just in that shit laughing, like just straight up laughing.
Yeah,
and I was like, damn, that ain't no good look right there. Man, in jail, motherfuckers used to gather around for Rap City. And like that shit, I don't know if it premiered on Rap City or if it was the first time they showed it, because that was like the only shit we really saw rap wise. And man, motherfuckers was just straight up laughing.
I think that was more of a gimmick record, like you known for battling rappers, so come with something lyrical. I think they tried to put some to stay on the charts, but it ain't work.
Man, we tripping like shit though. Eminem, I mean, that's a battle rapper. He won the little Rap Olympics before he ever had a retail album.
Oh yeah, but well, I know he had that his very first album. What's the name of that junk?
Infinite.
Yeah, Infinite. And they
You ever heard that shit?
I didn't, but I have a book I read, and
it's all right, bro. It sounded like some AZ shit. Like he really was trying to copy them. He even admitted.
Yeah,
I mean, if anybody can do a good job, you know what I'm saying?
That's exactly what the book said. They said when you listen to the album, it's very lyrical, but you can tell he's trying to emulate somebody. He's not the person that he became to be.
and you know, I guess that authenticity matter or whatever, but like, you know, they say never meet your heroes, because after I met mad at these motherfuckers, they all, well, not there is some authentic ass people, that's for sure, but it's a lot of them that's emulating somebody, like a lot of them are, you know, I forgot, I was talking about that on one of the shows recently, like it ain't, I think it was with Jay Hayes, it ain't even no need to be fake no more, because like you're allowed to be yourself. Like I can almost understand it, because like people really weren't giving their ear, they damn sure weren't giving their dollar, and maybe it's because of record labels or whatever, but it's the fact to anything but gangster shit for a minute. So I can see it, you know, that's just like cats make radio songs to make money, like, you know, feed your family, yeah.
And one person, I always say this to myself, because not a lot of people listen to him. A lot of people got to give credit to Common for that, because he was the only one really in the 90s who was, besides like Lauryn Hill, but as far as the male, Common, he was authentically himself.
Yeah, Outkast, Roots.
Yeah. But they didn't
get love for that at first, though, you know.
If you wasn't a hip hop fan, then you wasn't really listening to him. But if you was a hip hop fan, then you was listening.
I was hip hop fans bashing them, bro. Like damn sure the second Outkast joint. I remember mad people being like, look, what the fuck is that motherfucker wearing? And like, I ain't gonna lie, I lamed out on Outkast forever. I just like the first album, because I wouldn't listen to none but gangster shit.
I call that the Erykah Badu syndrome. You know, every single person she got with, they switched their whole style up.
You ever seen that reality show she had with the DOC?
No, I didn't even know they had a reality show together. I knew they was together, but I never knew they had a show together. Yeah,
I think it was on Bravo or something, and that's just not what I imagined. I mean, like, it speaks for itself, but you can check it out. That's not what I imagined the DOC being like.
What he was like, more chilled, or because
you just right. It's gotta be something to Erykah Badu. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, motherfuckers lose their mind. Like they've been making little jokes about that forever.
I heard Common say in the interview, her box is like something out of heaven. I said, I could tell you switched your whole style up. Then after you left her, your style switched up again.
Yeah, because probably mad other chicks, they be trying to think that shit's weird. You know what I'm saying? Shit, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't even know if you're allowed to talk like this these days with cancel culture and shit, but I always fuck with Erykah Badu. I could definitely see the appeal.
Oh, yeah.
Especially as she got older.
Yeah, definitely now, because back then she was much more skinnier, so she knew where I was younger, but she never caught my eye. You know, when I was younger, you know, Kim is my #1 all-time favorite female rapper, so that's what I look towards as far as females. But you know, as I got older and I really started looking at her, I was like, oh yeah, okay.
Hey, let me ask you that. That's funny, because I was talking to my wife about this shit, because my wife like Lil Kim a lot, and I made tell me what you think of this. I was telling her, like, you know, if you think about it, when Nicki Minaj started popping, if Kim had embraced her more, it probably would have been to the better. You know what I mean? And it ended up kind of like not working in her favor, especially with like the album that you could only get on PayPal, and then like it didn't get shipped, and like and her shit got canceled, and like that was like a bad look in general. Right around the time like Nicki Minaj dropping like Monster, so the comparison, you know, it don't, you know, like what they say, don't go to war unless you got your money right. So and then, you know, Nicki Minaj exploited that ruthlessly in the freestyles that when she would allude to her. And then I feel like Nicki Minaj kind of did the same thing to Cardi B. Yeah, it's kind of doing her a disservice. But she complained about how Kim did that shit to her, and then turned right around to do it. And Cardi B, I mean, if you want to look at it that way, you know, you can interpret it however you want. And I wonder how like Cardi B, how receptive she'll be, because it seems like the industry is always going to create a female rapper in their mold.
Well, so to me, it looked like Cardi is a little bit more accepting than, you know, because she, you know, she's jumping on tracks with City Girls, Megan Thee Stallion. So it seemed like she's a little bit more accepting than the other female was. Because I think Nicki and Kim, they come from that era of, you know, they were around top dog, top dominant men. So that's probably how they carried themselves. They wasn't as friendly as Cardi was. But
I think Foxy and Lil Kim, though, they had like a real life beef, like, and I don't know if it's like a beef, like they was trying to see each other, like, but like they was both from Brooklyn. I think I don't know, and like it's so many rumors over the years, you don't know what's true. but it was something like there was like a issue over a man or some or one of them was jealous of another spot supposedly or whatever, or one of them interpreted a lyric to be about them,
Mhm.
and then that shit kind of happened with Kim and Nicki Minaj too. But I always felt like Lil Kim kind of went out of her way to shit on her, and I kind of feel like Nicki Minaj went out of her way to shit on Cardi B. I mean, at least in the motorsports situation, if it's their song, who gives a fuck who's on it? Like, what say so
Yeah,
you
yeah,
got about
yeah,
that?
yeah. That when the video came, when the song came out, I was like, okay, they on the track together, and this John Crangan. But when the video came out, and I noticed they wasn't in the same scene together, then that's when I knew. I said, okay, yeah, it's an issue. It's an issue there somewhere.
And that shit was messy. You had the Migo dudes arguing with each other, Quavo and Offset, and like that's homeboy, baby mama, like that shit's just unnecessary.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like regardless of what's right or wrong, sometimes just say fuck it, move on with that shit.
And it's crazy about the Kim and Foxy situation because that's around the time wasn't no internet, but still I was young around that time. I never knew what the issue was, but I always knew as a child it was an issue there, and it's crazy because it wasn't no internet, so that's how big the issue was. It had the whole world talking about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that I don't know what the issue is. It's that I've heard like 10 different things, so I don't know what the real issue is. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I mean, this like I don't even think they've ever even gotten cool though, have they? They ain't never done no like on stage shit or nothing.
I know I seen a cover shoot they did, but that's way before I think they even had an issue. They did like a magazine cover shoot together, and that was the last time I ever seen them two like together in the same space.
But so, all right, so that's who you fuck with female wise, and then you said you had music in the household, but like you 28, you must have bought a CD or two when you're done.
Well, my brother, he was a real hip hop head, so I never really had to buy CDs because he always had them, so I can just go in his room and whatever he listening to, I'm in there sitting down playing the game, playing 64, and whatever he listening to, that's what I'm listening to. So I never really had to buy CDs. When I got older, that's when I started buying CDs. But when I was younger, I never had to buy CDs because my brother always had it. That's why I first heard Block is Hot. He got it.
Yeah. Oh man, I remember when I first heard Cash Money. Yeah, them was the days. Them shits kind of, some of that shit kind of got lost with what Wayne did later. But man, some of them early Jones like the Lights Off, all that shit. I mean that one Hot Boys. I think it's the second Hot Boys album technically, but the first one that you could ever get in a
Real.
that. Yeah.
We was so much Cash Money fans. We would take our VH tapes, our movies, and remember the box, the show, the box.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
Every time the box come on, Cash Money video come on, we'd put that VH in and record over the movie. So we made our own Cash Money VHS tape. You
ever seen that? I never saw Baller Block, and you ever seen that shit?
Of course, we bought the movie.
Is it good?
Classic. Same way, No Limit, I'm About It. Baller, classic.
You seen it, but a rack of them other No Limit movies was kind of hit or miss, to be kind.
Yeah, I only.
I got The Hookup was dope though.
Yeah. So
and Foolish was dope too.
I didn't see that one.
Oh, that's like Eddie Griffin trying to be a comedian. That shit funny as shit.
I always used to see that on TV, like on demand as I got older, but I never went to it. But
it's like Eddie Griffin and the whole No Limit. So if that's your type of thing, that's your type of thing. You feel me?
Because I seen an interview with him and I believe it was Vlad, and he had thanked Master P. He was like, "Yeah, Master P gave me my biggest check ever for that movie."
I believe it. He definitely wasn't faking on the ducats. You ever heard that I Got the Hookup soundtrack?
Yeah.
It got that Ice Cube song on it, Ghetto Vet.
I got to go back and listen. I haven't listened to the soundtrack in a minute.
That was like the first one that had like Mad No Limit shit on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No Limit's underrated. Did you fuck with like the pre-Lemonade Gucci Mane? Like when he was dropping all the mixtapes on the same day and all that type of shit.
I got wind of Gucci Mane back in, I want to say 2006, my freshman year of high school, 2006, 2007. That's when he had because I first heard Icy, and then after that I didn't hear nothing else. Then he had that freestyle out where we had the red rag on the bar chain, and after that, that's when I heard Freaky Girl, and that's when everything else came out of it.
Yeah, I don't know if people around the country know like how big Gucci Mane was in the DMV. Like, I lived in Houston, all over, and like people don't understand how unique the DMV is as a music scene, and like the artists that have come out of DC don't quite reflect everything that the
Mhm.
DC listener that encompasses the DC listener. I
Mhm.
mean, like I try not never to be no hater, but to be real with you, I ain't never heard no Wale coming out nobody's car.
Nah. You gotta be like you gotta be a hip hop student to listen to Wale. He got some good radio records, but to actually listen to an album, like I've listened to his album, he got some good albums, but
And he ain't whack. Like Wale
nah.
definitely can flow. Like, but
Mhm.
just saying, like, when a lot of people think of DC rap wise, that's what they think of. But then, like I said, I ain't never heard Wale coming out no car.
And
But I heard Mad Gucci Mane, Mad Lil Wayne, Mad 50 Cent, Mad Scarface, Mad Devin the Dude.
mhm.
Like all that shit like dominated.
Yeah, it's still people to this day. I can tell as a kid up until this day, as a grown adult, people like, yeah, Gucci Mane, my favorite. And even
Dipset, like motherfuckers listen to Dipset like that too.
oh yeah, that run.
UGK.
UGK, I didn't really listen to UGK. I first heard UGK on Big Pimpin'.
Yeah.
And then after that, that's when I know Pimp.
How old were you?
When Big Pimpin' came out, I was still in elementary school.
So you never heard the Menace soundtrack. See, the first time I heard them was Pocket Full of Stones on Menace, you know what I'm saying?
So I heard that when I got older, when you start to learn about the history as you get older. So I heard that when I got older. But when I was younger, the only thing I heard from UGK was the Big Pimpin'. And then that's when I heard Pimp C got arrested. And then Bun B, he started, doing his thing. And
Yeah,
that's when I got tuned.
that free Pimp C movement. Yeah, that shit was dope. See, I wasn't around then. Like y'all was getting them mixtapes.
Which ones?
Like like all them like Gangsta Grills or the free Pimp
Oh,
C Jones or the Gucci Mane shits or like the Lil Wayne run, like the early dedication and all that type shit.
Thanks to my brother, because I remember he had got the dedication, I think a week before it came out, before it hit up here. And then he always tell me a story. He's like, man, I remember I got it a week before it hit, and then that next week, he said everybody came to school. Hey, you heard that new dedication? That new dedication. So Wayne, that's my number one over all time. So we was always tapping in what Wayne was doing.
See, when I was growing up, bro, like it wasn't nowhere to get that shit. You could only get go-go tapes and shit. Like even if you went to PA Palace, ain't have no mixtapes. I used to have to like off of no bullshit. I catch it like starting from like 16, 17, like once or twice a year. I go to New York and just cop mad mixtapes, like Clue shits and all that other shit, because I just wouldn't know where to get it until I went shit. Yeah, I guess like the first time I went down south was the first time I ever saw a place that had Clue tapes for sale. Ironically.
And I don't know where he got these mixtapes from, but that's how I knew about the G Unit mixtapes. Lloyd Banks getting a mixtape artist of the year, and he had Dipset mixtapes, and I don't know where he was getting them from, but he had them.
That's when motherfuckers used to have like the best of mixtapes before they even came out. Like you remember the best of Lloyd Banks, best of G Unit, best of Tony Yayo. Yeah, man, them shit used to go hard as fuck. I remember that era well.
You could tell them the mixtape covers was just a photo shoot, and then them just putting words on it. It wasn't no designer covers. It was just whatever picture you got, they putting some words on it.
You remember when shit? I remember. I mean, the Segway shit. I remember like 50 Cent ruled the world. Like that shit. Talk about hearing something coming out the car. Like that's all you fucking heard.
Man, I know he was out before them, but I didn't get wind of him until Wankster came out. That's when he had the world in his hands. So, but when that album came out, man, that's the only. Well, I ain't gonna say that's the only album, but from start to finish, like a debut album, that's one of the most perfect albums of all time I could think of.
Man, that's like one of the few jumps that like you saw like every chick had it, like everybody had that shit.
older people, middle-aged, teenagers, kids, everybody was tapped in with that one.
Yeah, man. I mean, to be real with you, that I witnessed in the DMV, I can't think of a jump that was bigger that I heard more. To be maybe Bone, the second or the first full Bone album, the one with first of the month on it.
Big fan of them. That's mainly the reason why I got these. And my brother, we wanted the long hair, the cornrows, just like them.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, shit. I remember girls definitely like Bone. Like
Man.
you know, I was the age where like you know, girls they age would have been listening to them when they came out. You know, like 16 and shit. I guess they was like 3 or 4 years older than. But yeah, nah, girls definitely like shit. I remember like between Bone and Allen Iverson, that's when you really started seeing people getting cornrows. Because you ain't really never used to see nobody with no cornrows in like 92.
Nah. I never really wanted long hair until, you know, I seen my brother and older cousins with them, and the reason they got them, you know, because of Bone and them had them. So I was like, oh, hey, they got them. Let me go ahead and get it.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be like a couple cats with dreads, and shit. I remember when I was first getting old enough to be aware of such things, there's still cats getting like perms. You know, you might catch a straight Jerry curl or two in 1992. And all that shit on the movies true and shit. That shit messy as a motherfucker.
Man. And it's crazy how well, when I was young, dreads wasn't even that crazy. But in elementary, I used to see this. He was the only kid in the school with dreads, and I used to be like, "What the hell is that on his head?" Now look at it, a whole world got him.
Man, bro, I remember I seen a white dude get jumped by some real live Rastafarians, and they yanked his motherfucking hair out his head and called him a fashion dread. And like he ain't starting nothing with him or nothing. Like it was like they duty. They ran right up on this man, but he was trying to buy bud around Certain Quarter. Like, I ain't know him. I was just out there. I seen that shit. Man, I'm talking about like that. One band held him down, had his foot on his chest and shit. Another band yanking them shits out. Man, oh, man, his head was hitting us. That shit was, oh man, if there had been camera phones, them dudes would have went to prison like shit because motherfuckers would have been horrified. And that shit was like Tuesday afternoon.
I know they take that stuff serious. I was on the metro and I overheard a conversation. It was a Jamaican and another dude, and he was saying, the Jamaican dude, he was saying, yeah, man, I be walking around, I be seeing these dudes getting their hair done and all that. He was like, that's not how it's supposed to be. You know, you're supposed to let it grow out. You're not supposed to get it done.
Yeah, you know what it represents, right?
I believe they say it's supposed to like represents freedom, something like that.
Nah. When people got kidnapped in slavery, and they be on the bottom of the ship, it was called the dreaded passage, and they wouldn't be allowed to shampoo or brush their hair. They wouldn't be allowed to wash it off, so their hair would lock up. So that's why you're not supposed to get it done. It's you know, in honor of that.
Okay, see, learn something new every day. That's something I've never heard that story in school and nothing. But I'm glad I know.
They ain't gonna teach you all no real live Rastafarian shit in school. You learn that type of shit in prison, or by knowing Rastafarians. Like that's where I learned the shit. And prison people talk about religion all day if you want to.
And I don't really get into the Rastafarian thing until I watched that Snoop Dogg documentary where he went over there and he converted.
So they convert back? Like I wonder how that worked. And I'm not even trying to be funny, like because you know, like sometimes people try something out, they lapse. Sometimes you stop doing something because you don't feel you worthy of holding that title with the life you live in. Like you know, I remember cats that be like, I would be a Christian, but I ain't living right enough to claim that. You know what I mean?
I'm not sure. I couldn't even tell. I think he probably tried it out, and you know it ain't work because you know he made a whole Jamaican album and everything. He was in the studio over there and everything. But
that shit. I kind of liked it. I liked the Snoop John where it's all R&B too. When he was like doing like the '70s disco R&B sound and shit. The jump that had Sensual Seduction or whatever, whatever the real, like that. That shit went kind of hard.
But you can tell Snoop was always a old school lover, even on Doggy Style. You know, my favorite song on that genre is I believe it's called Doggy's World, like it's a crazy mixed up world.
Yeah. With the fabulous dramatics.
Old school people on So you could tell he was always an old school lover. He always had that in his music.
Bro, you know, like I moved to Forest Heights when I was 13, or I lived there from when I was 7, but from 7 to 13, I lived in Bowie. And
Right.
I was listening to like mad heavy metal and shit. Like rap wise, I probably had Beastie Boys, Young MC, maybe De La Soul. I didn't even know what the hell NWA and all that shit was until I moved to Forest Heights. And I don't think people understand like how different that shit was back then. Like I remember like if rappers was beefing, motherfuckers would pick sides and not listen to the other person. Like people took that shit like mad seriously. And so
Mm-hmm.
when I first like I ain't know a lot of old school R&B when I first moved to Forest Heights. So like I learned most of that shit either from like the people across the street, you
Mm-hmm.
know who they is, or like off of what they sampled. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Like it was mad songs. I heard the rap version first, and then like when I hear like the Quiet Storm or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and I'd be like, oh shit, I didn't even know that was a song. You know what I'm saying? Like all that shit Dre and Puffy was sampled. That'd be like a hell of a way that's a hell of a school on how to learn R&B music.
That's really how I got into really R&B music. You know, rappers and singers doing tracks together. The Mary J and the Method Man, Biggie, and the Total Jones, and then
Well, see, I
then
was old enough. I was copping that when it was coming out. You know what I'm
mm-hmm.
saying? Like I kind of missed out on like the Luther Vandross shit. Like I knew about James Brown and I knew about like pop shit from the '80s, but I kind of lamed out on the more like what they would call, I guess, like urban R&B of the '80s. Like I learned that later, and I didn't really know about George Clinton and none of that until after like '92, '93 when I moved to Forest Heights. Like I learned all that shit, like Parliament, all that shit. Like
and it,
they weren't playing that in Bowie, brother, and you ain't really hear much Parliament on the Quiet Storm, you know.
nah. I learned most of that old school stuff from watching movies. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Saturday, playing George Clinton at the party, and How to Be a Player. They was playing James Brown in the intro, so that's mainly how I learned most of this stuff. Maxwell. I mainly heard most of the old music off of movies, and it's always stuck with me to the point I did my research, or my mother or somebody had it, and I wanted to listen to it.
Man, you ain't never lied, brother. I learned so much motherfucking classic rock from like Forrest Gump. Cause the motherfucker or the Stand By Me soundtrack, like, cause that shit go hard. I mean, good. Like, I like good music. I don't give a fuck what genre it is.
Yeah.
I mean, I ain't never heard no opera music I like. I'm sure that it's possible, but like, I heard a couple country genres. It was okay. You know,
Just from playing Mad. You know, playing Mad. I never listened to rock until I started playing Mad. You know, you sit there long enough, and next you know you started hearing. You know, okay, I like what's going on. You know, Green Day. I learned
that's considered punk, right?
punk rock.
Yeah. See, I love punk, and people don't understand punk ain't like all that yelling shit. It's more like Green Day. Like you know about this shit called Violent Femmes?
Nah.
Man, that's a punk group, and that shit goes stupid hard. Like you should look up Violent Femmes, Blister in the Sun. I guarantee you'll fuck with that song, if nothing else. Like I bet my life you would.
Hey, you ever heard of Daltrey?
Yeah.
See, I heard of him because of American Idol. You know, when he was on American Idol, he was actually singing songs. But after he got off, it was a few rock songs I heard that I was like, okay, I'm fucking with it. I really like it.
I mean, some of them jumps are right, but it's just like with rap, like with new rap. I don't hate on none of the shit. Like some of it be good, but it don't be great. Like I fuck with the Baby hard. I fuck with Stunner 4 Times hard. I fuck with like Mad of the West Coast dudes hard. But there's other shit that like I admit that it's good, but it ain't necessary. It ain't no, to me, it's like why listen to that when there's some great shit I haven't heard. So like when it comes to rock, like yeah, a lot of them shit be cool. Like definitely Daltrey and some other shit. But like mad at that old shit that I ain't heard a lot of go hard as fuck. Like Led Zeppelin is vicious, bro. Like the first like 5 Metallica albums. Like shit that got a little bit of funk to it, or like a motherfucker with a wild voice. Like the Guns N' Roses singer, like that motherfucker got a wild ass voice. Like that shit sounds great. That's how the Led Zeppelin dude is. He got like just a different sounding voice, you feel me?
And what's so crazy about them is I didn't know anybody who listened to it. I never listened to it, but it's the simple fact that they were so big that I knew the name. Like I heard Metallica, I heard of AC/DC, I heard of Led Zeppelin. I never listened to the music, but they were so big that somehow, some way, I just heard their name and I never forgot it.
Damn, you ain't never listen to Led Zeppelin?
I probably did, but I can't sit here and say if a Led Zeppelin song came on, I'm like, oh yeah, that's Led Zeppelin. I just remember the name vividly. I always heard
Wow,
the name.
bro, like Homeboy got one of the most distinctive voices you ever heard. Their song "Stairway to Heaven" at one point was the most requested radio and record history. Man, nah, let Zeppelin go. The music is on some other level shit. They was a lot of them British bands was heavily influenced by the blues, and you can hear it. Like a lot of that Led Zeppelin shit is funky as a motherfucker. Like it ain't like no Metallica, you know what I mean? Like those is entirely different animals. But like as a musician, I guarantee you would appreciate Led Zeppelin. If nothing else, like it's highly sampleable. I mean, you won't be able to release that shit, like get no clearance, but you could, do some underground shit with it. But nah, like it's mad shit. Like everybody should listen to like Trouble Man, What's Going On, Led Zeppelin, Zoso, like mad shit across mad genres. Like I mean, just like with rap, like what back to rap, what would you say is like some shit that you must listen to?
What, far as today or just
like I feel like if you're a fan of music, you should hear some of the ones I just said. So like there's some No Miss, like Get Rich or Die Trying.
It's even before that. It's plenty. You got Nas, Stillmatic. That's one of my all-time favorite albums. Reasonable Doubt, Block album, Block is Hot. Cameron, you Come Home With Me. It's so
Stillmatic Immunity. Hey, let me ask you this though. I feel like The Streets Disciple after Stillmatic is underrated as shit. I feel like that's one of the best Nas Jones. So don't nobody ever say that shit. The double disc jump.
I like it, but I don't. I like
the Bama with the age story and the girl.
Yeah, I like it, but I don't think it was on the level of Stillmatic.
I mean, nah, it definitely wasn't on Stillmatic level, but it was ahead of a lot of the other albums. And I feel like it don't get no like for one thing, if you go back and listen to it, that was one of the best Jones he had for beat selection. Because a lot of the complaint with Nas was that his beat selection subpar, which I don't know if I necessarily agree with.
I was great. I always hear a lot of people say that they never really like his beat selection.
I never understood that.
It fit his style, so you can't.
I mean, we're talking like Primo beats, Pete Rock beats. Like these bands is tripping for real. You know what I
mean? And that first like Illmatic album, like I don't know anybody besides no, I don't even know anybody who had a first album with all them top producers.
And he was like 16. You know what I mean?
I think he was like 17 or 18 when he put that out, but. Like,
yeah, but he already like Mad at Them shits was on his demo. You know what I mean?
And I watch his story a lot because he's in my top 10 all time. From Live at the Barbecue and him.
You know about that? Kidnapped the president's wife without a plan.
I went to hell for stuff with Jesus. I was like, what?
Yeah.
I believe it was the Professor or MC Search. They said when he said that line, that's when they knew it. They said, "Oh, he's gonna be one of the greatest all time."
Man, that man MC Search had a solo album, right? And I saw it at Discount Mart at Eastover for 99 cents a tape, like maybe like 3 years after it came out. And I bought that shit. It was in like a little bin, and that shit had a fucking Nas verse on it.
What year was that?
I mean, it came out like before Illmatic.
Damn, so that was like.
But like nobody heard it, you know what I mean? Because I mean, no disrespect, but nobody's copying the MC Search album. Well, I first had the Third Base album, though. Like I definitely heard that around Forsyths.
You said what album?
The Third Base, the group he was in. Like you probably wouldn't know that shit. It was only popular. Like there's like two white dudes, and they made like a song making fun of Vanilla Ice called "Pop Goes the Weasel."
And only well.
That's where MC Search comes from. Like Third Base was real big for like a year or two.
Okay.
Yeah, like I mean, they definitely went like platinum. Like you remember you ever heard of Young MC?
Nah.
Yeah, like this is maybe like 2 years after like the Biz Markie Sage Just a Friend. Like it's like that time frame.
Okay.
Like Kid and Play started popping. MC Hammer was popping. Vanilla Ice was popping. I started listening to heavy metal. Because I ain't fuck with Mad at That. Like before that, I fuck with like Run DMC and Beastie Boys and Public Enemy. But then the only shit you start like that's like 86, 88. But then like 90, all you see is like silly motherfuckers.
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, I shouldn't say that now because I respect their craft and get all that, but like at the time, that's how I perceived them to be less than honest. You know,
Yeah.
as my kids watch MC Hammer, my little 7-year-old loves fucking MC Hammer for some reason.
Well, I think it's because
them kid videos be having it in it.
And it's a lot of kid movies that use that can't touch the song and they actually do the dance. So I think that's what also drew the kids to MC Hammer as well.
Oh yeah, now you know I had to show her the real deal. You know what I mean? Like that came from this. But you know now look up when she's watching like Pumps in a Bump. Yeah, people probably don't even know about that shit.
Nah.
But shit, bro, like we've been chopping it up for a minute now. For real, we should just do this again and talk about what you're listening to now, and we could definitely have some overlap on that because like I feel there's so much good rap music that you should always talk to. Like now it's available. Like I remember when it would be like maybe 15 albums out a year. You go up to Rivertown and get a Waxy Maxi. Now you get 1,000 of them hoes every year if you want. So like I always like talking to people because everybody can pull your coat for some dope shit that you ain't heard of. Like it's not possible that that's not a true statement. And if you believe otherwise, then you just ignorant.
I don't know if you listen to Benny the Butcher.
A little bit.
Yeah, I'm just now getting on him. People are like, yeah, you should have been listening to. He been out since like 2018. I'm just 2021, and I'm just now going through his catalog. He got my ear for, but I would say, as far as new people, the number one person who got it is, like you said, the Baby. Like he got that wave now.
I mean, I can tell from how people talk about him that people really like Moneybagg Yo and NBA YoungBoy the way that I would like rappers when I was like 17 to 21. You know what I mean? Like I can definitely tell that they get that love. And I hear jumps where they're good, you know, but it's just some don't none make me go back to it. Like,
yeah,
I listen to a lot of YG. Obviously Kendrick Lamar. I feel like the West Coast been running rap for a minute and ain't nobody noticed. Like the J Rock shit's ridiculous. You know, Ab Soul. Like I'm talking about like these motherfuckers be putting out classic motherfucking albums. Nipsey Hussle, and like, you know, he kind of got the proper respect when he died. But like I remember when he was selling the $1,000 mixtape, people was acting like, who's this whack motherfucker? And like I remember you were saying that 4 years ago. You know, now that you're talking all this, and like I've been you know, fucking with DJ Lazy K and everything. I was on Nipsey Hussle for a minute. And I was just like, man, the West Coast is making all this great music. It's like people ain't noticing like that, except apparently with their dollar, which is what really matters.
And it's been like that for a minute. Like,
but you probably never even heard the J Rock Strange Music album. You know, he was signed to Tech Nine record label, got an album.
Yeah,
that shit's insane.
I think that's when he put out the single with Lil Wayne.
Nah, that was Lil Wayne Jones before that. That the Strange was in the interim.
Yeah, because I remember he signed to Strange Music, but I just didn't know exactly was that for that album or whatnot.
And I ain't never heard nobody talking about that shit, you know. But then, you know, you get Spotify and shit. It's like you can listen to anything. Like you know, I'm an old head that fought that streaming shit. But in reality, like that shit, you can listen to whatever you want, whenever the fuck you want to, which is fan fucking tastic. And you still helping support them financially. Because I used to have like a little moral qualm about some bootlegging. You know, when it was fucking Obama's pockets up, what was the one? I think it was the volume 2 of the Jay-Z, the bootlegging fucked his pockets up. And to like redo the album and shit. Like, so I feel kind of bad like that because I won't want to like cop that bootleg shit to the point that the motherfucker couldn't afford to make music no more. You know what I'm
saying? And the thing about it is, it was like a gift. It was like a gift and a curse because it was a gift because, you know, either way, you still getting your music heard, you still becoming somebody's favorite. But the curse is the money not going in your pockets, it's going in the bootlegger pockets.
I mean, like look at your career as an artist. Like back in the day, you wouldn't have reached the point yet where you'd be making too much money off your music, and you get a streaming check as soon as the song comes out, as many people as you can get to listen to it. Now, if the cut's fair or not, you know, that's to be debated. But at least it exists.
But back to what you were saying, as far as the West Coast music, I feel as though with Game, I put him. He's in my top 10 as well. But I feel as though he was big when he came out, but I don't think he had like everybody's ear as he should have off that first album. That thing sold 5 million.
I like the second album better, but man,
Yeah.
he got a hell of a mixtape run, and all the ones that's considered like retail albums. If you go back and
Hmm.
listen to them shits is vicious. I mean, people complained about the name drop and shit, and like some of that shit do get a little bit repetitive. I mean, he damn sure make classic material. But like I
Hmm.
said, mad at that West Coast shit. Like it's a new word I learned called proportionality, and it's usually used in relation to like if I do something to you and you do something worse, and it's usually used on like some cancel culture. I think people complain that sometimes the person get canceled, it's not proportionate to what they did wrong. But
Hmm.
be that as it may, I like that word proportionality, and I don't think the quality of work that the West Coast motherfuckers put out was proportionality accepted, you know,
Hmm.
like labeled by the at least the hip hop media, because like I said, clearly the fans are supporting it. 'Cause that shit sell like shit, but it ain't just Kendrick Lamar or like that Mozzie dude. You ever listen to Mozzie?
I heard a few of his records. I never listened to his albums. You know, I heard a few songs with him being featured on. I know he was on that Game last album, Born to Rap. I like his verse on there.
He went off on Jim Jones album, which made me listen to him. Shit, he got a song that just came out like 3 days ago with YG,
Yeah,
where they redo Wankster. That shit go hard as fuck.
I didn't even know. I forget where I heard it from, but I heard they got an album together.
Oh, probably so. Like them West Coast, I mean, they supposedly got all the division, but they seem like they got all the unity too. They click up and make group albums all the fucking time. Or like
Man.
like not even group albums, just two solo people. You know, like Yuck Mouth and somebody. Yuck Mouth must have made like 20 albums with people.
Hmm. And it'd be a wild combination too, because it's a song Tiger Guy is featuring him. No, it's YG songs featuring Nipsey and Tiger, and that's like you from an average fan, you would never expect to hear a YG, Nipsey, and Tiger duo, but you know they stick together on the West Coast.
Yeah, most definitely. So shit, brother. You know, I'm about to go fuck with this game. Unless you got anyone else you wanna bring out specifically. We ain't covered that you really like.
Uh, nah, not really, but I got this top 10 issue. You know, far as that last person, I never could. You know, who would you put in there? I'm stuck between T.I. or J. Cole.
Well, here's the thing with Ti. I put J Cole over him now. The thing with Ti is like I used to be the biggest Ti fan, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then like after he went to prison, mad at them albums was vicious. But at some point, I started listening to Ti album, and every single song he would say something like, and like he's entitled to feel however he wants to feel. I ain't hating in the slightest, but he say something like to the equivalent of like he could fuck my bitch, but he don't want to fuck my bitch. I will never be able to make as much money as him. I'll never be able to enjoy life as much as him. I'll never have clothes as nice, jewelry as nice, because he literally say mine is better, yada yada. And I was like, damn, like I'm getting depressed listening to this shit. Like I ain't never gonna be as good at like all this band is doing is telling me a whole bunch of shit I can't have. You know what
Uh,
I'm saying? So like I kind of fell off on that shit. And then you know, like a lot of motherfuckers when they were saying a couple years ago, you hear people say stuff. Now everybody want to be all pro black. You know, like they was making allusions to you know, like around the Colin Kaepernick time, all of a sudden motherfuckers making like Black Panther albums, which they
mm-hmm.
thought didn't quite jive with I don't know, selling crack in large amounts in your community.
Mm-hmm.
And this ain't necessarily my opinion, because I mean that Ti album that was, let's say it was a concept album, a protest album.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that shit was good. Some of them Grand Hustle dudes show out. Like man, people be getting lost on Grand Hustle. But so yeah, I definitely have to go Cole.
Yeah,
I
because
feel like you know one thing. I feel Cole got the best Dead Presidents freestyle of anybody, and that's actually saying something because everybody tried to flow over Dead Presidents beat at some point.
I have to agree with that because ain't too many. I ain't too many I can remember off the top. But I would have to agree with that. And you know, I was on Cole before the debut. I think I got on Cole on now the warm up because he had to come up, then the warm up, and then Friday Night Lights.
That Dead Presidents is on one of them jumps. That's why I heard it.
I believe it was either on the warm up or Friday Night Lights, but I believe it was on the warm up.
Man, he murdered that shit, bro. Like murdered it. But that being said, it's a lot of J. Cole music I ain't really get with, and that might be me laming out because I ain't know I wasn't into this subject matter like that. because you know, like I said, I like that gangster shit. But I remember when I first started blogging, bro. You know, I was more outspoken about what I didn't like. And when he had his first retail album, I was like, I didn't like that shit. And I remember Rob Markham, he like well known in the hip hop media world.
Mm-hmm.
He asked me he was like, do you mind if I ask how old you are? And I told him, and he was like, I hear a lot of people your age say that they don't like J. Cole. And I think I was like 32 when it came out.
And, yeah, I hear, well, I ain't gonna say I hear, but I see on the internet a lot of people say his music is boring. And I'm like, I don't, I just don't understand how you find his music boring, because his music is different from everybody else. So
yeah, I mean, I like that Dream. I listened to the Dream Chasers album many times, and I listened to the album like when all the songs he performed at the All Star game.
mm-hmm.
I listened to that album many times, but I didn't go back and listen to all the ones I hadn't listened to. I still ain't listened to the new one yet. All I listened to is LA Leakers freestyle.
One album I say you gotta listen to is my favorite, but far as the masses, they say it's his worst album, but I think
that's probably the best of it.
Yeah, it's called the John Born Center.
Born Center, I'll check that out. Yeah, I remember he said that was like with the little devil tattoo. Like I remember mad motherfuckers was wearing them shirts like at rap events. Like they must have gave them shits away to the media, like a motherfucker, because you seen people wearing them shirts for like 5 years.
Man, and it makes
funny ass cameraman got the Born Center.
And there's so many J. Cole fans out here. Like I remember I used to work at a Chick-fil-A. Dude came in there with the Dreamville joint. I said, "Oh, you must have watched that documentary." And man, his face just lit up. I said, "Oh yeah, J. Cole fans out here is real."
Oh yeah, I admire people that can inspire love like that. Like that shit. That's what you need as a musician if you're gonna not have to work and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Your work gonna be your music.
Yeah,
you gotta be able to get a fan base.
I think not hating, but from the highlights I seen from his basketball games over there in Rwanda, maybe he got to get his feet wet a little bit more, to get better. But I think the music has officially taken over. I think the basketball is behind the music.
Yeah, bro. I don't think the basketball. I think he's just gonna travel with that team and do like 10 games or something. And that league is like not substantial. I watch a little bit of European international basketball, and I listen to people talking about the shit, and they seem to have a pretty good grasp on where each league is. Mm-hmm. and that league is kind of tenuous. But I mean, he's like 36. You know what I'm
saying? Yeah.
I mean, I think that's cool if he like doing that shit and he enjoying it. Shit, more power to him. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I mean, it's not like he's not even gonna be like in the big three.
Nah.
Yeah, so like I don't see that going nowhere. But then, hey, if basketball is your hobby, what better way to do it? You know what I'm saying? Like shit, I'd play in the Rwanda league right now if I could. Like I bet a lot of motherfuckers hating would love it, because I mean I'm sure he's living lovely over that motherfucker. Like I'm sure he's not staying in no fucked up shit.
Nah, of course not. Then the simple fact that he has years on. He has over a decade in hip hop, so people know his face over there. So
it's mad nice shit in Africa. Like a lot of people. I mean, I don't know, but from what I've heard in life, a lot of people seem to think like Africa all backwards and shit. But
yeah,
in reality, like there's mad big modern cities all over Africa.
That's because of them commercials. When we was younger, we used to see them commercials and we like, damn, that's what it's like over there. Damn, it's messed up over there. But in reality, people like, no, that's not what it is. No, it's actually nice over there.
I mean, some spots is mad fucked up too.
Yeah.
But it ain't too much shit where it's like motherfuckers living in the jungle with like gorillas and lions and shit, like they show them like cartoons and shit. Like,
nah, cause I know my man Luda, he got a citizenship over there in Africa.
Yeah. I don't know if it's true. They used to say that Bama was really from Virginia and went to like high school in Herndon or some shit, but I don't know about that.
No, what's crazy is I
like Reston or something. I think
I got a lot of hip hop stories that I had that happened to me that people don't believe. But his uncle was my substitute teacher at Crossland High School.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Look exactly.
Walt Williams.
Huh?
I said shout out Walt Williams.
Yeah. So I don't know if he came here or not, but I know he got family here. Just like I didn't know Kanye lived down here in PG for a little minute.
Yeah, his dad was living out this jump. Yeah. Nah, I mean, like that's probably what happened with Ludacris. I mean, like I just did a show I-20 like yesterday or the day before, and he was talking about growing up with Ludacris. So I mean, I know he ain't making that shit up. You know what I'm saying? Shit. You know what you think about Carmelo Anthony? You think he's from New York or from Maryland?
With that part right there, I
With the big West Baltimore tattoo on his shoulder.
I would say B more, but I think he got more notarized from New York.
And I ain't never heard nothing about him being from New York until he got traded to the Knicks.
Mm-hmm.
I remember he was Mr. Maryland like a motherfucker when he was at Syracuse in the McDonald's game.
And with he was almost one of my favorite players all time. But I think I just think he ain't never really got the help he needed far as that team. And it's crazy. He used to have some crazy players on that Nuggets team too. But I guess they just couldn't get it together.
I mean, I've never been the biggest Carmelo Anthony fan, but in his defense, yeah, I don't think he never really had a super championship team. Like, there's no team that if he had played the so-called right way, that I feel that would have elevated them to a champion. So, I mean, look, you get kind of hard when you get older. In hindsight, like, I guess he did. Like, he never really had no great point guard like that. He had Chauncey Billups for a hot second towards the end of Chauncey's career.
Yeah,
but yeah, a cat like that, you kind of gotta have the right point guard. Like, they never really had nobody to run none of them offenses. And then, I mean, there's probably a reason why George Karl never won a title.
Well, I think they never really had a good center either. Because I think that counts.
Shit, they had Nene.
Yeah, but I never.
And
really,
Kenyon Martin was playing center, but yeah,
I never.
They ain't have nobody to like go against the centers they was going against. You're right about that. Because back then, like, you were still playing like Shaq and shit.
Yeah, that's right. I think if he had that right center, I think they could have had a good run. Because I felt as though Chauncey kind of fit his style. Chauncey was the veteran. JR, he was still young, but he was still bucking threes, dunking. Carmelo was the superstar. I think all they needed was that good center.
I mean, in those days, I mean, you could say that about anybody. Well, I mean, I guess you can't say about T-Mac because but like mad motherfuckers, if they would have had the right center, they would have had a chip. Like Charles Barkley probably should have tried to go to like New York or something back in the day, but shit, who the fuck knows? Damn, bro. You be watching, listen, what see, I love how like the shit that they used to be considered a little bit fringe, rap in the NBA is now like automatic. Like I love how universal it is.
Yeah. Just like Drake said on, I forget which album it was, I believe it was Take Care. He said, rapping ball players is so synonymous because we want to be them and they want to be us.
Yeah.
So, mm-hmm.
There was an album called I think it's called like B-Ball's Best Kept Secret or something, but it had like NBA bammers trying to rap like Gary Payton, Dana Barros. I think Brian Shaw was rapping on that shit.
Only NBA.
Jason Kidd had a song. Jason Kidd definitely had a song, and they all had like a known rapper on the song with them. But like most of them, I can't remember who was on there, but most of them would be like people you probably never heard of.
Yes, the only people I knew that was rapping in the NBA was only 3 people: AI, Kobe, and Shaq. Those are the only people I knew that rap.
Dame Dollar.
Well, I'm talking about when I was younger. Back then, those are the only 3 I knew of that rap. But
Dana Barros was on that shit. Yeah, man, we got off this show. I'm gonna send you that link. That shit will geek you the fuck out. Like, they all made a song, and some of that shit is beyond garbage juice. Like, Gilly the Kid really wasn't like that shit. But yeah, bro, shit. Thanks for taking time to, basically like co-host the episode with me, man. I appreciate that shit. The shit is interesting to me. I'm sure rap nerds will like this shit.
Always love talking about hip hop, man.
Shit, we're gonna have to do it again soon then.
Most definitely. Appreciate it, Mark.
Oh, no doubt. Shit, everybody watching this, listening to this, make sure y'all go check out Skitta Skat. You still working? You must be about to drop another genre, right?
Yeah, well, right now with the adventures, I know they about to start touring, you know, since everything is opening back up. So they start doing the touring. So they going to different cities doing shows, and while they in each city, they, you know, they going to hold studio sessions and bring the artists into those. So that's mainly what I'm waiting on. I think probably like mid or late July, I'll probably shoot a video for Sky High. But right now the focus on, you know, when they come here, you know, I know they doing Richmond.
So you got a good song and you're gonna push it up. Okay, so everybody watching this, make sure y'all go check out Sky High. That shit go hard.
Oh,
Dirty
yeah.
Good Bastard, any streaming platform, YouTube. So you're gonna make a video at the end of the summer.
Yeah, so that's mainly what I'm focused on. You know, they got a show in B-More, Richmond, and DC. So those are the 3 shows I'm trying to get with, and they doing a little compilation album. So when they come here, I'm trying to get in that studio, get on that.
I mean, yeah, if you can time that with a visual coming out, people hear the song like it. That ain't a bad plan at all. Yeah, keep pushing that, John. Like I feel a lot of people, we make real good songs, don't promote it for very long and move on, and then they don't left like a really great song just laying there. Really,
that's because they following the timeline of today. You know, you drop a song, probably you promote it for about a week. Next week later, they didn't drop another song instead of, you know, keep pushing it.
Yeah, but you gotta be T Grizzly and drop the first day out before you get everybody attention. You know, like so you gotta have that one to get everybody attention. No matter how many motherfucking songs you made, don't nobody listen to it.
And then a lot of time the problem is a lot of people don't know how to market their song. They don't know who to go to, or they don't pay for marketing. They just, you know, put it out and, you know, just, you know, put it in everybody inbox. Check this out. You know, you gotta. You know, you got to contact some people. You know, pay a little bit of money.
The streets ain't gonna feed them rapper babies. You gotta pay for some promotion.
You still got to do it. It's still somewhat old school. You still got to put in the groundwork. You know, if your song don't go viral like a Chief Keef, or you got to put in that
groundwork or some shit. Yeah. So it's very few of them motherfuckers though. It's always like a couple exceptions, but few and far between. And then half the damn exceptions done work like 10, 15 years at it. You know what I mean? So-called overnight sensations, but they really work 10, 15 years at it. Like with 50 Cent blow up, people don't even know, like you made me think of it earlier. He was in like an Onyx video playing hockey. You like look that shit up, Onyx featuring 50 Cent.
I ain't
in that joint rapping playing hockey. He might not be, but Onyx definitely is. And he in the video. He's definitely on the ice, if I remember correctly. So I shouldn't say definitely, but I'm pretty sure. But they definitely playing hockey in the video. It's a hockey themed video. It's on like Onyx's 5th album or some shit, some album I never even heard.
I seen Rick Ross say, you know, he said, I know he was rapping for longer than that, but he said, you know, when I started taking rap seriously, I was rapping for 10 years and I didn't make not one penny, you know, doing shows, writing, putting out music. I didn't make not one penny, but I was just determined.
He was on an Eric Sermon album, the first Eric Sermon solo album. It's called Teflon the Dime. And then people don't remember he was on Suave House for a hot minute. Then I remember he was on like a Trina album way before Hustling. Like they had a video where they was running from the police in the car and he had a guest verse.
That was on the all about the Benjamins.
And then like reading between the lines, I always had the feeling that he kind of wrote for Trina. I could be totally wrong about that though, but I always kind of had to guess that like there was a period where he wrote like the majority of an album. But I could be told that's all speculation. I don't know that.
But I would say you got his book Hurricanes.
Nah, not yet. I'm not the biggest Rick Ross fan in the world. You know, I got an episode. Anybody listening to this, look up Nick Soprano on the Super Fact Show. I said something about how I felt some kind of way about a correctional officer listening to drug dealers and rapping about them and blowing up off people pain. And this dude Nick Soprano was a correctional officer, so like and a rapper, and he wanted to address the issue. And to his credit, he did. And anybody wants to listen to it, you can listen to it and be the judge of what you think.
You got to get his book. See, he addressed that too. Like he get deep into everything. Like when he first grew up, how he had a scholarship for football, and you know, working at the correctional, he addressed everything. It's a good book.
I give anybody a chance, but you know, just from being incarcerated, my instinct is I could just picture some of them COs that they had been sitting there listening to people talking, making little notes. And I guess that's assuming that he ain't doing all that shit in real life, and I don't really know one way or another. But I just find the idea in and of itself to be distasteful. And then I found some of the shit like selling dope on the iPhone. You know, he was yelling that on a single.
Yeah, the jungle.
Like that ain't no way to stay out of prison. So I felt that was a little irresponsible, especially if he's witnessed the effects of mass incarceration firsthand like that.
Right.
And so like he never, whether he addressed the issue or not, he ain't never like addressed the fact of like, if you glamorizing that life, what that shit usually like, you know, UGK, you know, talking about Scarface and all them, they had the reality edge of it. But it was like for a minute, people just telling the all good side of hustling. And like they telling the good of all evils, but there's another side of that shit too, like being locked up, catching a monkey and going through withdrawal, all that type shit, you know, get them up, people getting killed, people trying to rob you, being annoyed, even if you ain't scared, you annoyed because you'd be a fool not to be. You know, people like I thought that was fucked up when Future was said he don't be fucking with no Xanax or no lean, but they ain't making music about it, making that shit sound good. Like to me, that shit's fucked up, and I feel like people should have accountability on some level, and not that they should censor themselves, but if you're gonna talk about some shit, you know, make sure you if bad come with it, make that known too.
And I noticed a lot of people do that. I got the 50 Cent book where, you know, his work smarter, not harder, and you know he got that new champagne, and he said what he do inside the club is he'll have somebody, one of his people, go in the back, dump all that out, and just fill it up with ginger ale. So people think he in the club just drinking, while the whole time he just drinking ginger ale. So I was like, okay, I see the hustle. Yeah, I don't really do this stuff, but y'all making money off of it, so it's all a hustle.
Yeah, but I mean, when he made on Get Rich or Die Trying, he had that High All the Time song, and he said he don't smoke, but people asked him to make that song, and he was doing it for them. So like they're like, we want something to smoke to, 50, which is what he said. Which if you think about, it, it's kind of funny. Like how many people you think was really going up to him, be like, 50, can you make a song I can smoke to?
And I heard that. I thought about it, I was like, man, I ain't never seen this nigga smoke. Not one, you know, you might smoke a cigar, but I ain't never seen this nigga smoke not one time. And then I was like, see, now you start putting the pieces together.
He ain't never hide that shit neither, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like one thing about the correctional officer shit, like that shit seemed to be hidden. And you know, usually when you hide something, you ashamed of it.
Yeah,
and usually you ain't ashamed for no reason. But I mean, on the other hand, maybe he ain't just want to fuck his paper up. Like, I don't know. I don't like that shit. But that being said, he made undeniable music, and I've listened to it. It's hard. Like, if it's good, it's good. Like, and then after getting to meet rappers and shit, like, if you only listen to music from people that you like personally or like what they about, you wouldn't hardly listen to shit. But yeah, so shit, that's like the longest outro ever. So shit, shout out Skitta Skat. Thank you for your time, brother. And you have a blessed evening.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Make sure y'all watch out for them Wizards. We're gonna get that win.
I hope they probably blew the best chance. But yeah, man, you take it light and have a good night.
I appreciate it, Mark.
No doubt, anytime. Thank you.
The Superfacts Network, home of Jump Pop, SDE, and the Superfacts Show, now available on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts from. Come check out St. Laz, G from the Shop, and Mark Waldo Ward.